For those who haven't seen yet, make sure you tune into part 1 first before you watch this video. This is part 2. But for those who've just seen part 1, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the story. Let's get it.
And now going straight on to the second trimester. So that's within month 4, 5 and 6. And that's between week 14 to week 27. You can do it earlier, but I did it quite late. I applied for the TFL baby on board badge. I never actually got to use it at all, like the baby on board badge. Like, I still have it, but I never seem to use it. But I recommend that you pregnant ladies make sure you get the baby on board badge. But sometimes, like me, I'm a petite person, so my baby bump didn't show until like month 6, like properly. So when I was like 4 months, I still had a bump, but no one would see, so no one would offer me a seat. And sometimes I'd be too shy to be like, oh, can I get a seat please, because I have a baby inside of me, I need to sit down, my legs hurt. And it's free as well, so I recommend you just apply for it anyways. You get a maternity certificate for free. That you'll get that in the post, and then you can bring that to your like dentist appointments, your just normal doctor's appointments and everything. And when you get prescriptions, all of that is free. Everything is free for a year. Your prescriptions for the baby, your dentist appointment, all of that is free. And even a year after your baby's born, everything is free, but only for 1 year. But yeah, make sure you have your maternity certificate on you for proof. In the second trimester, the symptoms I had an increased appetite. I was eating all the time. Again, just mainly savory stuff. I had some heartburn, but it was quite minor at the time, but I noticed I had it more than usual. I had some abdominal pain, like at the bottom of my belly here, and it's called like round ligament pain. That's like when your belly is like stretching out, it's making room for the baby. I had even more vaginal discharge. I was getting a stuffy nose all the time, but I also think because it was like winter, I also had swollen gums, and I had to get that medicated because my gum fully like swelled up, and so my dentist had to like pop it. You couldn't like x-ray what was going on because you're not allowed to get x-rays when you're pregnant. It's not good for the baby. So all he had to do was just pop the swelling, and then he put me on a lot of antibiotics and just a lot of medication, and the swelling went away, the pain went away eventually. And I also had a short temper. I was getting angry like all the time. I don't know if it was just me having like mad mood swings, but I noticed that my temper got really worse. Anything would just push my buttons. I also started getting really weird dreams and nightmares. On Saturday the 14th of December 2019, that's when my dad had his funeral. My sister and my mom probably felt it way more than me, or they were showing it way more than me. Like, I just wanted to put like a brave face on, and at the time a lot of people at that funeral, no one really knew that I was pregnant except for my family and I might have to apologize actually in case the background kind of shifts or like alters. Is because my battery died and I had to charge my camera again, so if that happens, that's the reason why. So I was talking about the day of my dad's funeral. In my head, something that helped me cope with the whole thing was that my dad was in so much pain, he was suffering, and at least now he doesn't have to suffer anymore. And you know, it's just a part of life. He's coming and going, and at least I know he's in a better place now. There's no more pain, and I know that he is watching over us. And I also felt like he wouldn't want us to be sad all the time. Like, I know this is especially with the baby. He just want me to focus on the baby and his health. Christmas and New Year's went by. It was really weird to not have my dad around, and then 2020 came along. Little did we know it was all gonna go downhill from there. On the 5th of January 2020, that was my dad's 40th day. What we did, we counted down every single day until his 40th day, because that's when we believe that his soul goes up to heaven. He lingers around the earth for 40 days just to, you know, say his goodbyes, and we have to pray like all the time. So on his 40th day, we had like a gathering again. We said a couple prayers, there was food, and a lot of people from my secondary school were there. I invited most of my friends that was there, and on that day I remember breaking the news to the boys. We ended up going somewhere afterwards. I think we just went to go like chill about in the area, and then I was like, guys, can I just show you something like on a real, like let's stop messing about. And they're like, what? I brought up the picture of the ultrasound, I turn it over, and I'm just like, you guys are gonna be uncles. And like, they were so happy. Like, I remember everyone saying, oh my god, we're gonna be an uncle, wow, we're gonna teach him how to play video games and everything. And so they were really supportive about it. My bump didn't officially start showing until after 16 weeks. If I can insert some pictures, I will. I was still really small, like it wasn't obvious, but if I was wearing a t-shirt and I just pulled it like this, you can see like a little bump. Most of the time I'd wear like baggy shirts and oversized things, so you couldn't tell. The only time you tell is when I got to 5 months, 6 months. That's when it like popped. But until then, I was still going to work. Nobody knew. Only a handful of people at my workplace knew, but most of them didn't. But I managed to hide it up until the point when I started maternity leave. And So Wednesday the 8th of January 2020 was my second midwife appointment. I was 17 weeks down the line and we just had the same thing, just urine test, blood pressure, all of that is the same up until your third midwife appointment. Well, that's how it went with me. Around 19 to 20 weeks I felt baby churros kicks for the first time. It did feel like butterflies, like they always tell you it will feel like butterflies, which I'm just like, that's kind of weird, but it did. You know, when you're just kind of nervous, it felt like that. So I couldn't really distinguish what was butterflies, what was like the kicks, but I think I was pretty sure it was that. I felt his small movements for the first time. I remember feeling like raw, like there's like a whole leg inside of me, like there's an arm, there's a big ass head inside of me. Like, it's really weird because he's my firstborn and you notice this is really happening. There's a human growing inside of me, like wow. Phoenix! Come in the video and then I'll continue. Look how handsome you are! Does you look like me? Do you look like me? Do you look like me? You smell like poo. You smell like poo. So where was I? So on Monday the 27th of January 2020, I had an allergy appointment at St. Mary's. So I got like an allergy test. They put a strip of paper on your arm and then they prick you with different samples of things that you could possibly be allergic to. I was being tested for an egg allergy because I'm allergic to eggs, and I was just double checking to make sure because I was meant to get the flu vaccination. However, I couldn't during my pregnancy because I'm allergic to egg protein. So I did not take the flu vaccination. But if you have a pregnancy, especially during the winter time, make sure you get the whooping cough vaccination and the flu vaccination. I took the whooping cough one, which was fine. So on Wednesday the 29th of January 2020, that's when I had my 20-week ultrasound scan. So his head was like 20 times bigger than the first one. Again, you have to go on a full bladder, and this time I went with the godmothers, both of them. And that's also when we found out the gender. I didn't find out, they did, and then they ended up planning the gender reveal, which unfortunately we didn't have in the end, but they still managed to do it. I did it on the Instagram live and they sent me their videos of them popping, because I had confetti cannon, so they sent their videos of them popping the confetti cannon, and then I did mine on an Instagram live just to, you know, my close friends and the ones that knew. During the ultrasound scan, that's when you can easily see the features. Like you could see his head, his little tiny feet, his hands, his neck, you can see his cute spine and his back, you can see his tummy. Phoenix, however, he didn't want to face forward, like he was camera shy. Like he was fully facing away for a while, and then the doctor told us to go somewhere for like 10 minutes, told me to drink something really sweet, then he'll get like so much energy, and then flip the other direction so then she could take the picture of him. Since then, that's when the gender reveal planning started. I didn't plan anything, they did all the work, the godmothers. You are dribbling all up in a dunya. So on Monday, February 3rd, 2020, that's when I got my whooping cough vaccination. You're right. Looking at my phone. This moves forward to Wednesday the 26th of February 2020. I had my third midwife appointment. I was 24 weeks down the line, so this is just over halfway. Again, had to do urine tests, blood pressure, and this time the midwife measured my bump because my bump had started growing. She just uses a tape measure to start from the top to the bottom of the bump. And then I heard baby Chura's heartbeat for the first time. I heard your heartbeat for the first time. It was like super fast, but not like super fast, it was not like safe. His heartbeat was going do 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 do. That's your heartbeat. Do 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 do. I remember hearing it and I'm just like, oh my god, this baby is fully like alive. I wanted to record like a voice note even, or a video of it. I kept forgetting to ask. This was the time where I had to start going to my appointments by myself because of corona. Prior to that, I think the first and second one I went with one of the godmothers, and then from the third one onwards you could only go just by yourself. You weren't even allowed to bring, even like if the father wanted to come or like a birth partner, they couldn't come. You had to be by yourself, which kind of sucked throughout the whole pregnancy because since then, February, March, mainly March onwards, I had to do most of the stuff by myself. Usually you'd be able to be accompanied by one person, but unfortunately I was by myself through most of it. Oh yeah. Daddy? Oh, there you go. Baby's getting impatient.
Come in. Show them your face.
Smiling. You smell like poo poo. You smell his clothes. It smells like poo poo. Look how white he is compared to me. Woo! You're still cute as hell.
You want to show them your bounce?
Yeah, show them your bounce. Show them the bounce. Done. Jump. I get dizzy.
Oh.
He's tired.
Alright, let's leave him alone.
See you later. See you in a minute. Back to business. Thursday, the 12th of March 2020. That's when I did my glucose screening. So that's when they test you for gestational diabetes. Everything came out fine. You have to get your glucose screening done during your pregnancy. And that concludes the second trimester. I'd say the only difference from the first one is that your bump may or may not start showing. Mine sure as hell didn't start showing a lot, but it started to grow. Sometimes you will get back pains. I didn't really. It was mainly abdominal pain, but the pain wasn't very strong yet. Something I did realize throughout this whole pregnancy was that I was fortunate enough to not have like a painful pregnancy. Like throughout the whole thing I didn't experience much pain, but that's how I knew my labor would be crazy. Sorry that this part ended very abruptly. I didn't end up filming an outro for the end of part 2, but if you're still watching, stay tuned for parts 3 and 4. I'll be talking about my third trimester and then my labor and delivery. But if you've enjoyed the video so far, please give it a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, all of that love, and I'll see you in the next video.